The station was cold. It was always cold on alien stations, thought. Humans liked warmth, but they preferred their air thin and cool, like the inside of a freezer. Walked through the metal corridor with her brother beside her. Their boots made soft sounds on the floor. Around them, aliens of many species moved in different directions. Some were tall with 4 arms. Some were short and covered in fur. Some floated in special suits filled with water, but most of them were. They looked like giant insects. Their bodies were covered in hard black shells that looked like dark glass. They had 4 legs and 2 arms, and their heads had many small eyes that never blinked. When they talked, their mouths made clicking sounds. Did not like not because they were ugly or strange. She did not like them because they thought humans were weak. They thought humans were stupid, and lately they thought humans were a problem that needed to be solved. "I don't like this place," whispered. He was younger than by 4 years. He was tall and thin, with nervous eyes that moved too much. "Everyone is looking at us." "Let them look," said. Her voice was calm and flat. "We get our supplies, we leave, simple." But it was not simple. Knew that. 2 weeks ago, the Dominion had declared humans a threat species. Earth had refused to pay their taxes. Earth had refused to bow. And now, every human in space was in danger. They reached the customs checkpoint. A line of guards stood in front of a large scanner. Their weapons were long rifles that glowed with blue light, pulse rifles. One shot could burn a hole through a person. The guard at the front was bigger than the others. His shell was darker, and he wore metal badges on his chest. A commander. "Humans," the commander said. His voice was like stones grinding together. "Stop." Stopped beside her, and she could feel him shaking. "Names," the commander demanded. "This is my brother. We are cargo haulers. We are here for supplies." She kept her voice polite but not afraid. Fear was a weakness, and they could smell weakness. The commander looked at a screen built into his arm. "Your ship is registered, but there is a problem." He looked up at them with his many eyes. "All humans must surrender weapons before entering the station." Quickly pulled his plasma pistol from his belt. His hands were shaking as he placed it on the table. "Here, this is all I have." The guard scanned him. A green light appeared. He was clean. Then they turned to. She stood still as the scanner moved over her body. It checked for metal. It checked for energy weapons. It checked for explosives and chemicals and anything that could hurt. "Nothing." The commander tilted his head. "You carry no weapons." Shrugged, never needed one. This was not the answer the commander expected. He stepped closer to her. He was much taller than her, and his shadow fell over her like a dark blanket. "You lie. All humans carry weapons. You are a violent species." "I'm a cargo hauler," said. "I carry boxes, not guns." The commander made a sound like breaking glass. It was a laugh, but there was no humor in it. "We have received reports. A human woman matching your description. Former military, dangerous." His face did not change. "There are many human women." "Yes, but few who killed 47 enemy soldiers with their bare hands." The air became very still. Looked at his sister with wide eyes. He knew about her past, but he never talked about it. Nobody talked about it. The commander raised one of his arms. The guards behind him raised their weapons. "You will come with us, both of you, for processing." Processing, knew what that meant. It meant small dark rooms. It meant questions and pain. It meant bodies that were never found. "We have done nothing wrong," said. His voice cracked with fear. "We have papers. We have permission to be here." "The permission of humans means nothing now," the commander said. "The Dominion has decided. Your species is too dangerous to live freely. You will be processed. Your ship will be taken. This is the law." 12 guards, all armed, all watching. Counted them quickly. She looked at the positions of their weapons. She looked at the distance between them. She measured the space, the angles, the timing. Old habits, training that never left her body. grabbed her arm. "Please, don't do anything stupid." She looked at her brother. He was scared. He had every right to be scared. They were going to kill them. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. Unless she stopped them. "When I move," whispered, so quiet that only could hear, "run for the ship." "What? No. Don't look back, don't wait, just run." The commander stepped forward. "Enough talking. Surrender now or we will use force." Looked up at him. She was small compared to the... She had no weapons, no armor, nothing but her body and the training that the military had burned into her bones. She smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of something hungry, something that had been sleeping for a long time and was finally waking up. "You want me to surrender?" she said. "Yes." "Then you should have brought more guards." The commander made another grinding laugh. "Foolish human, what can you do? You have no weapons." Cracked her neck. She rolled her shoulders. She let out a slow breath. "Commander," she said, "I am the weapon." And then she moved. The commander was still laughing when reached him. One moment she was standing 3 meters away. The next moment her palm hit his throat. The sound was like a branch breaking. His vocal membrane, the part of his body that made sounds, shattered under her hand. He could not scream, he could only fall. Was already moving to the next guard. She grabbed his rifle and twisted it. Her body turned with the motion, using his own strength against him. His arm broke at 3 points. The rifle fell to the ground. She did not pick it up, she did not need it. The other guards were raising their weapons now, but they were slow, so very slow. Too, they moved like they were swimming through thick water. She could see every small movement they made. She could predict where they would aim, where they would shoot. The first pulse blast flew past her left ear. She was already not there. She had moved before the guard pulled the trigger. Humans were strange creatures. The galaxy did not understand them. They came from a heavy world, a planet with strong gravity that crushed weaker species. Their bones were thick. Their muscles were dense. They could run for hours without stopping because their ancestors had chased animals until the animals died from exhaustion. But the most dangerous thing about humans was their speed. Their nervous systems, the parts of their bodies that carried signals from their brains to their muscles, were faster than almost any species in the galaxy. When a guard decided to shoot, his brain needed time to send the command to his finger. By the time his finger moved, had already moved twice. She hit the third guard in the joint where his arm met his body. The shell cracked. He dropped his weapon and fell, screaming in clicks. Fourth guard. She ducked under his rifle and drove her elbow into his chest. The impact pushed him back into the fifth guard. They both fell. Sixth guard. He tried to hit her with the back of his rifle. She caught it, pulled him forward and threw him over her hip. He landed hard on his back. His shell cracked against the floor. Seventh and eighth guards came together, dropped low, swept one's legs, and as he fell, she jumped and kicked the other in the head. Her foot hit the soft place behind his eyes. He collapsed like his strings were cut. Ran, he did not want to. Every part of him wanted to stay and help his sister. But she had told him to run, and he trusted her. He trusted her more than he trusted anyone in the universe. So he ran toward the docking bay, his heart beating so fast he thought it might break. Behind him continued her work. Ninth guard. She grabbed his arm and used his own body as a shield when the 10th guard fired. The pulse blast hit his back. He screamed and fell. Was already past him, her hand finding the 10th guard's throat. 11th guard tried to run. She caught him in 2 steps. Her fingers found the gap between his shell plates and squeezed. He fell, unable to move. 12th guard, the last one. He dropped his weapon and raised his hands. "Please," he clicked. "Please, I surrender." Stopped, she looked at him. Her breathing was normal. Her heart rate was calm. She had not even started to sweat. "Go," she said. "Tell your leaders what you saw. Tell them what happens when they threaten humans." The guard ran. stood in the middle of the customs hall. 12 guards lay around her, broken and bleeding. The whole fight had taken 11 seconds. She looked at her hands. They were not even shaking. "Impressive," said a voice from the shadows. Turned. A woman stepped out from behind a support column. She was human, older than, with dark hair that had lines of silver in it. She wore simple clothes, but her eyes were sharp and cold. Said her voice was flat. "I should have known." Smiled. It was not a warm smile. "It's been a long time, 5 years. You look good, still fast, still deadly. What do you want?" To talk. Walked closer, stepping over a fallen guard like he was just a rock in her path. "The quiet office needs you." The quiet office. Earth's secret intelligence division. The people who did the dirty work that governments pretended did not exist, had worked for them once. She had been their best agent, their most effective killer. Then she had walked away. "I told you people 5 years ago," said. "I am done. I am not a weapon anymore. I am just a cargo hauler." A cargo hauler who just destroyed 12 elite guards with her bare hands. Raised an eyebrow. "You can lie to yourself, but you cannot lie to me. I know what you are. What I was. What you will always be." His voice became serious. 2 hours ago, the Dominion declared war on Earth. Their fleet is moving toward our home world. They have a planet killer, a weapon that can destroy entire worlds, and they plan to use it on Earth. Felt something cold move through her chest. Earth, her home, billions of people, her mother's grave. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you can stop it." Stepped closer. "The planet killer is on the home world. If we can steal its control codes, we can threaten to use it against them, force them to make peace. Send someone else. Send your agents." "My agents are good, but they are not you." Eyes were hard. "You are the only human who has ever infiltrated a military base and walked out alive. You are the only person who can do this." Shook her head. "I am out. Find another monster." Alarms started screaming. Red lights flashed on every wall. The station's speakers crackled to life, and a deep voice spoke in the common language. "Attention! The human infestation ends today. All humans on this station are now prisoners of the Dominion. Resistance will result in death." His blood went cold. He was still on the station, still running for the ship. "They are locking down the docking bays," said quietly. "Your brother will not make it." On the screens around the customs hall, a new image appeared. The High Commander, the leader of their entire military, stood in front of a camera. Behind him were rows of humans on their knees, prisoners. Their hands were bound and guards stood behind them with blades. "We have captured 37 human criminals," the High Commander announced. "They will be executed one by one until the terrorist known as surrenders herself." The camera moved to show the prisoners' faces. "Was among them." His hands became fists. Her calm broke like glass. She looked at with fire in her eyes. "Where is the ship?" she asked. Smiled. "I knew you would make the right choice." "This is not a choice." Started walking toward the shadows where it hidden. "This is war, and they just made it personal." The maintenance tunnels of the station were dark and dirty. Crawled through them behind, her knees scraping against cold metal. Above them she could hear boots marching. Soldiers searching for her. "How much further?" asked. "Not far, docking bay 7. My contact is waiting." They crawled for another 5 minutes before reaching a small hatch. Pushed it open and dropped down into a storage room filled with boxes. Followed. The room was connected to a small private docking bay, and sitting in that bay was a ship unlike anything had seen before. It was sleek and black, shaped like a blade. No markings, no identification. A ghost ship. Standing beside it was a man. He was older, maybe 50, with gray hair cut short and a face full of scars. His left arm was made of metal, a prosthetic that ended in fingers that looked more like weapons than tools. When he saw, he smiled. Well, well, he said, the famous I thought you were dead. Said she remembered him. They had served together a long time ago, before everything went wrong. You lost your arm. You took it. He held up the metal arm and moved its fingers. Remember, that mission on the ice planet. You threw me out of the way of a plasma cannon, saved my life, but my arm did not survive. I remember. I never blamed you, lowered his arm. You saved 20 of us that day. 23 went in, 20 came out because of you. Said nothing. She did not like thinking about those days, the killing, the death, the 47 bodies she had left behind in that final mission, the mission that had broken her. We need to move, said. The fleet will reach Earth in 6 days. We need to get to their home world, steal the planet killer codes and get back before then. And free the hostages, added. The mission is the codes, the hostages are. My brother's voice was ice. The hostages include my brother. We free them or I walk away right now. Looked at her for a long moment, then she nodded. Fine, we free the hostages, but the codes come first. Without them, Earth dies, everyone dies, including your brother. They boarded the ship. Inside it was small but efficient. 2 sleeping areas, a cockpit, a small kitchen. Everything a crew of 3 would need for a long journey. Took the pilot's seat and started the engines. The ship hummed with power. Hold on, he said. They have locked the bay doors, we will have to break through. Do it, said. The ship shot forward, grabbed a handle as the force pushed her back. Through the front window she saw the bay doors coming fast, too fast. Pressed a button. 2 missiles launched from the ship's nose. They hit the doors and exploded. Metal flew everywhere. The ship burst through the flames and into open space. Behind them the station grew smaller. Watched it disappear and thought about, he was back there waiting for her, believing she would come. She would not let him down. Tell me about the mission, she said, sitting down across from. Pulled up a hologram. It showed a planet covered in black towers and dark clouds. This is the home world. The planet killer is controlled from a place called the Citadel of Thorns. It is their most protected military base. Guards. Thousands plus the. Jaw tightened. She knew about the. They were elite warriors, modified with genetic engineering to be faster and stronger than normal. They were the only species in the galaxy that could almost match human speed. Almost. The hostages are being held in the diplomatic quarter, continued. That is on the other side of the city from the Citadel. We will need to split up. No, shook her head. I go alone, both targets. That is impossible, even for you. Nothing is impossible, leaned forward. I get the codes first, then I get my brother, then we leave, simple. Simple, laughed, but there was no humor in it. You will be facing the entire military alone, without weapons, without backup. I have backup, looked at, he will fly. You will guide me through the base, I will do the rest. Turned from the controls. She is crazy, he said to, but I have seen her do crazy things before. I believe she can do this. Was quiet for a long time. Finally she sighed. Fine, we do it your way, but if you die, Earth dies with you. I will not die, stood up and walked toward the sleeping area. Wake me when we arrive, I need to rest. She lay down on the small bed and closed her eyes, but she did not sleep. Instead, she thought about the past. She thought about the mission that had ended her career, the peace negotiation that had been a trap, the soldiers who had surrounded her team, the choice she had made. Fight or die. She had chosen to fight, and when the fighting was over, 47 soldiers lay dead, all killed by her hands, no weapons, no help, just her. The military had called her a hero in private. In public, they had called her a war criminal. They had buried the truth and thrown her away like garbage. She had promised herself she would never be that person again, the monster, the killer, the weapon. But now her brother was in danger. Now Earth was in danger, and the only way to save them was to become the thing she feared most. She opened her eyes and looked at her hands. Small hands, hands that had killed more people than she could count. 47, she whispered to herself. Then quieter, let's see if I can beat my record. In the darkness of space, the ship flew toward the home world, and inside, a monster began to wake up. It was a dark world. The sun was old and red, giving only weak light. The sky was filled with thick clouds that never moved, and everywhere black towers rose from the ground like giant knives pointing at the stars. Landed the ship in a valley outside the main city. From here, could see the Citadel of Thorns in the distance. It was the largest building she had ever seen, a massive structure of black metal and sharp angles. It looked like something from a nightmare. The entrance I found is here, said, pointing at a map on her screen. A waste tunnel on the eastern side. It leads to the lower levels of the Citadel. Guards. 2 at the entrance. Patrols every 15 minutes inside. Nodded, she wore simple black clothes that would not make noise when she moved. No armor, no weapons, just her body. The control room for the planet killer is on the top floor, continued. You will need to go through 12 levels of security. I will guide you through your earpiece. And if I lose contact, then you will have to figure it out yourself. Looked at her with serious eyes. Remember, the codes are everything. If you cannot get them, destroy the control room. At least that will slow them down. Put the small earpiece in her ear and tested it. His voice came through clear. Good luck, said. Did not believe in luck. She believed in training, in preparation, in being faster and stronger and more willing to hurt than the enemy. She left the ship and moved through the darkness toward the Citadel. The 2 guards at the waste tunnel were easy. They did not even see her coming. One moment they were standing, the next moment they were on the ground, unconscious. Did not kill them. Not yet. Dead bodies made noise when they fell. Dead bodies attracted attention. The tunnel was long and dark and smelled terrible. Moved through it quickly, her feet silent on the wet floor. She counted her steps, measured the distance, kept track of time. Patrol coming, his voice said in her ear. 20 seconds. Pressed herself against the wall and waited. 2 soldiers walked past, their lights moving over the walls. They did not see her in the shadows. They did not hear her breathing. When they were gone, she continued. The lower levels of the Citadel were storage and maintenance. Few guards, easy to avoid. But as she climbed higher, the security increased. More cameras, more patrols, more locked doors. Guided her around most of them, but some she had to deal with herself. A guard standing alone at a checkpoint. She came up behind him and put him to sleep with a choke hold. She hid his body in a closet. A camera that could not be avoided. She threw a small stone to create a noise, and when the camera turned toward it, she ran past. A door that required a hand scan. She used the unconscious guard's hand, pressing it against the scanner. The door opened. Level after level, hour after hour, climbed through the Citadel like a ghost. No alarms, no alerts. No one knew she was there. Until she reached level 11. General was waiting for her. He stood in the middle of a large room filled with screens and computers. He was bigger than any she had seen before, his shell covered in scars from old battles. Around him stood 20 warriors, their modified bodies tense and ready. I knew you would come, said. His voice was deep and cold. The bare-handed devil, the human who killed my guards on the station. Stopped, she looked at the warriors around her. Too many to fight, too fast to escape. How did you know? She asked. Because I know humans, walked toward her slowly. You are predictable creatures. You care about your families, your friends, your home. He made a clicking sound that might have been a laugh. When I took your brother, I knew you would come for him. And when I threatened your planet, I knew you would try to stop me. You're smart, said. I am a general. I have killed thousands of your kind with a single order. He stopped a few meters away from her. And now I will kill the most dangerous human of all with my own hands. He attacked. Was fast, faster than any she had fought before. His fist came at her like a missile aimed at her head. She ducked and rolled to the side. His foot followed, trying to crush her. She jumped back. They did not join the fight. They watched. This was their leader's battle, and they would not interfere. Attacked again and again. His modified body was a weapon, every part designed to kill, but was faster. She dodged his strikes by centimeters. She moved around his attacks like water flowing around rocks. "You cannot run forever," growled. "I'm not running," caught his next punch and twisted. She used his own momentum to throw him off balance. "I'm learning." She had been watching him, studying his movements, finding his patterns. Every fighter had patterns, and now she knew his. She attacked. Her palm hit his throat, cracking his vocal membrane. Her knee drove into his stomach, where the shell was weakest. Her elbow smashed against his head, targeting the soft spots behind his eyes. Stumbled, he was hurt, confused. No human had ever hurt him before. Did not stop. She hit him again and again. Her hands became blurs of motion. She broke his arm at the joint. She cracked his shell in 3 places. She drove her fingers into the gaps between his armor plates and tore. Fell to his knees. "How?" he gasped. "How is this possible?" Stood over him, breathing hard. Blood ran down her arm from a cut she had not noticed. Her shoulder burned where one of his claws had gotten through, but she was still standing, and he was not. "You made a mistake," she said. "You studied humans, but you never understood us." She reached into his belt and pulled out a data card. "The planet killer codes." "We don't fight because we hate our enemies," she said. "We fight because we love what we're protecting." She turned to leave, but they blocked her path. 20 warriors, 20 modified killers, and behind her, alarms finally began to scream. "You have the codes," his voice crackled in her ear. "Get out of there." Looked at the warriors in front of her. Then she looked at the window behind them, a window that showed the city below, a city where her brother was waiting. "No," she said, "I'm not done yet." She ran toward the window, the move to stop her, but she was faster. She grabbed one of them and threw him into the others. She ducked under a blade and kicked another in the chest. She reached the window and jumped. Glass shattered around her as she fell into the dark sky of. Screamed in her ear, "What are you doing?" Did not answer. She was too busy falling. She had 4 minutes to reach her brother before they killed him. 4 minutes to cross an entire city. 4 minutes to fight through whatever stood in her way. She smiled as the ground rushed up toward her. 4 minutes was plenty of time. Hit the roof of a building hard. She rolled to absorb the impact, but pain shot through her body like fire. Something in her ribs cracked. She ignored it. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. She ran across the rooftop and jumped to the next building. Then the next. The diplomatic quarter was ahead, marked by bright lights and tall walls. Inside those walls, her brother was waiting to die. "The hostages are in the central building," his voice said in her ear. "Main entrance has at least 30 guards. Back entrance has 15. "What about the roof?" "The roof?" There was a pause. I see a landing pad, 4 guards." "That's my way in." Jumped from the last rooftop to the wall surrounding the diplomatic quarter. Her fingers caught the edge, and she pulled herself up. Guards walked below her, but they were looking outward, watching for attacks from outside. They never expected someone to come from above. She dropped onto the landing pad like a shadow. 4 guards. She was among them before they knew she was there. The first one fell to a strike on his neck. The second fell to a kick that broke his knee. The third tried to raise his weapon, but she grabbed it and used it to hit the fourth. Then she hit the third with her elbow. 4 guards, 3 seconds. She ran into the building. The diplomatic quarter was chaos. Alarms screamed. Soldiers ran through the corridors, but moved faster than all of them. She followed the signs toward the central chamber, leaving unconscious bodies in her path. 2 minutes. She burst through a door and found herself in a large room. It was built like a theater with seats rising on all sides. In the center, 37 humans knelt on the floor. Their hands were tied. Their faces were bruised and scared. Was there? He looked up when she entered and his eyes went wide. Behind the hostages stood 20 guards with blades in their hands, and behind them, on a raised platform, stood the high commander of the military. He was massive, even bigger than General, and his shell was decorated with gold and jewels. "Ah," the high commander said, "the terrorist arrives." He made a gesture and a guard pressed a blade against throat. "Surrender now or your brother dies." Stopped, she looked at. He shook his head, telling her not to do it, not to give up. But she was not planning to give up. "You want to know something," she said, walking forward slowly. The guards raised their weapons. "You want to know why your species is afraid of us?" The high commander made a clicking sound of amusement. "Afraid? We are not afraid of humans. You are weak. You are soft. You have no natural weapons." "That's what you think," kept walking. "But you're wrong. You think our weapons are our ships, our guns, our bombs. You think if you take those away, we become helpless." "You are helpless." The high commander gestured at her empty hands. "You stand before 20 armed warriors with nothing. What can you do?" Stopped in the center of the room, surrounded by guards on all sides. She looked at each of them. She measured distances, calculated angles, planned her movements. Then she raised her hands, open, empty. "These are my weapons," she said. Her voice was calm and cold, "and I never drop them." She moved. The guard holding fell first, crossed the distance in a heartbeat and broke his arm at the elbow. The blade fell from his hand. She caught it before it could hurt and threw it at another guard's leg. Then she was among them like a storm. Watched his sister fight. He had seen her train when they were young. He had heard stories about what she could do, but seeing it was different. Seeing it was terrifying. She moved like nothing he had ever seen. She was everywhere at once, hitting, kicking, throwing, breaking. Guards fell around her like leaves in a strong wind. Their weapons could not touch her. Their blades cut only air. She was too fast, too strong, too determined. One guard managed to grab her from behind. She threw him over her shoulder and broke his shell against the floor. Another swung a blade at her head. She caught his wrist, twisted, and used his own weapon against him. The hostages screamed and crawled away from the violence, but did not look away. He watched his sister become the monster she had always been afraid of. And he understood why she had been afraid. 15 guards down, then 18, then all 20. The high commander stood alone on his platform, surrounded by the broken bodies of his warriors. "Impossible," he whispered. "This is impossible." Walked toward him. Blood covered her hands, but most of it was not hers. Her eyes were hard and empty, like a machine designed for one purpose. "Your fleet is heading to Earth," she said. "Call it back." "Never." The high commander drew a blade from his belt. It was long and curved, decorated with symbols of his rank. "I will kill you myself." He attacked. He was fast for his size, but he was not fast enough. Caught his blade hand and squeezed. Bones cracked. The blade fell. She kicked his leg out from under him and pushed him to the ground. Then she put her hand on his throat and squeezed. "Call it back," she said again, "or I will crush your throat and find someone else to give the order." The high commander looked into her eyes. He saw no mercy there, no hesitation, only the promise of death. "Send the signal," he gasped. "Recall the fleet." An officer at the edge of the room ran to a console and pressed buttons with shaking hands. A message was sent. The fleet would turn around. Earth would be safe. Released the high commander and stepped back. She looked at the data card in her pocket, the planet killer codes she had taken from General. "One more thing," she said. "This weapon you built to destroy my planet. If you ever think about using it, remember what one human did to your citadel. Remember what one human did to your guards. And remember that there are 8 billion more of us. She threw the data card at his feet. That is your only warning. Ship broke through the roof 5 minutes later, loaded the hostages aboard one by one. Was the last. He hugged her tight. I knew you would come, he said. Always, she replied. As the ship rose into the dark sky looked back at the chaos she had left behind. The citadel of thorns was burning. The diplomatic quarter was in ruins, and the high commander knelt among his broken soldiers, staring at the sky with fear in his many eyes. She had come alone, without weapons, without an army, and she had one. Sat down beside her. Earth Command is already receiving reports. The fleet is turning back. They are requesting peace talks. Good. You saved everyone. You saved Earth. Did not answer. She looked at her hands covered in blood and bruises. She had killed many today. She had become the monster again. But this time it was for a reason. This time it was worth it. Sat on her other side. What now? He asked. Now, closed her eyes and leaned back. Now we go home, we fix our ship, we go back to hauling cargo. That's it, after everything that happened. Smiled. For the first time in a long time it was a real smile. That's it, I'm done being a weapon. But even as she said it, she knew it was not true. The galaxy had seen what she could do. They would tell others. Stories would spread. And somewhere, sometime, someone would threaten the people she loved again. When that happened, she would be ready. In the quiet corners of space, a new saying began to spread. Traders whispered it in bars. Soldiers whispered it in barracks. Diplomats whispered it in meeting rooms. Never ask a human to drop their weapons. You might not like the answer. Did not hear these whispers. She was too busy flying through the stars with her brother, hauling cargo from one world to another, living a simple life. But she kept her hands strong, she kept her skills sharp, and she never forgot what she was capable of. Some monsters sleep, but they never truly disappear. And some monsters are exactly what the universe needs.